Hey, what's up, everybody? So this is my deep dive review of the Garmin Zumo, the motorcycle GPS, and I wanted to do this review after actually using the device extensively, and I've been using it for over 4 months, more than 3,000 miles. My latest intensive use was around the Pyrenees, Spain, France, and Andorra. So as you can see, this is the startup screen, and well, this is there's no problem about this. So here's the actual initial screen. As you can see on the upper right corner, one of the flaws on this device is the actual search. It's not a universal search as in Google Maps, where you have your browse and you can actually type here whatever you want and it will search around the whole globe. With the Garmin Sumo, you have limitation. You can only actually search around the location where that you see on the upper right corner that says searching near. This is really horrible because the Garmin Sumo 390 LM that I'm using at the moment, it's um, it's meant for all the European countries, and I actually live in Barcelona, which is very close to France, and I go very often to France, meaning that with this browse, whenever I do a search, I won't be able to locate places in France, not even in towns outside Barcelona. This is horrible. Why? Because you have to actually change the town to find your destination. It's not universal search. And this is really terrible when you actually don't know the name of the town or the province you want to do the search on. So in this sense, this was a terrible handicap when I was traveling in Europe because I wanted to find locations in France and I actually had to go to a real paper map, find the name of the province or the location, and then type, for example, hotels or museums around that region. This is one of the worst things about this device, uh, and this is gonna give you a lot of headaches. So what's my criticism here? That you actually have to train yourself to use the device. It's not actually user friendly interface where you can do a universal search and the device guides you through the search. No, you actually have to learn this kind of handicap to go around the device and find your trip. So this is a screen that shows up when you want to change the town you want to do your search. So what you do here is you actually have to figure out the name of the town you want to go to. Sometimes you don't know, you're just traveling around. In my case, I was doing very spontaneous trip. I just wanted to go around the places I found. For example, I wanted to find a camping, and sometimes the camping was not in the town I was actually at, so I could not type camping and it would show me the campings or the hotels that are on the outside region. So what I had to do is just type here either the postal code, which you have no fucking clue of postal codes when you're traveling in France or Andorra or Germany, or the city name, or search all. With search all is not the search all that's going to find hotel names. Search all means it's only going to find street names. So you actually have to change the country name, type the correct name of the country, in this case, for example, France, and then the city name. And this is where it becomes a pain in the ass. You actually have to type your spelling has to be on the spot. It doesn't tolerate spelling mistakes. You have to type the city name either in Spanish or French, the Spanish name or the French name, but it has to be correctly spelled in order for it to work. Otherwise, it will show you this screen. So this is a perfect example of the browsing with this device. I'm looking for a town in Andorra, a country just north of Barcelona, and it doesn't even find. It says it cannot find search results for Canadian Andorra, and it's correctly spelled. It has even the country name and it won't even find it. This is a pain in the ass because when you're traveling, international travel, this doesn't work. It's really annoying. And misspells, it won't tolerate misspells, won't even give you suggestions when you do misspells, and it won't even work. It will just give you this screen. So let's say you already have your town, the the town you're traveling to, in this case, for example, Barcelona, and you're doing a search here. The problem with the Garmin Zumo is that it only has a couple of upgrades or updates a year. So a lot of places won't appear, a lot of new places won't appear, and the database in Garmin Zumo actually doesn't have all the places. It's not meant to have all the places. So if you're searching for hotels, it won't have all the hotels. Most of the roads, especially in big cities, change directions, are under repair, maintenance, or whatever, and they change. I've been in trouble for this. Some streets are closed. I've been in trouble for this, and most of the attractions are obsolete. So most of the information you're going to be using on your Garmin Zumo is going to be obsolete, six, you know, 3 months old, or even years old, because these updates are not very robust. They're not granular. So on the next segment, I want to show you a comparison of the Garmin Zumo with the Google Maps, which Google Maps actually saved me on this trip around Spain and France. And the reason why is because the information in Google Maps is updated. That thing from one side. The other thing is that I had to use also a paper map, because with the Garmin Zumo it's really difficult to find yourself on the map, especially because the maps are not granular, and trying to navigate with your fingers, on the map, it's pain in the ass. I'm going to show you now how difficult it is to navigate with your fingers, on the Garmin Zumo. Imagine you are going through this while you're riding on your motorcycle. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a small demo of how the Garmin Zumo responsiveness works to the finger touch. Okay, it basically works the same with gloves or naked finger. So let's check the map, and as you can see, we're ready to navigate. It's showing me the arrow where we actually are at the moment. So I'm going to try to move around, and see, explore the location. As you can see, the navigation and the scrolling is extremely sluggish and very slow. So it's very difficult to explore the map with the Garmin. I actually have the latest firmware, and this is apparently the best performance it has. I'm going to try to zoom out, because sometimes you need to zoom out to see where you actually are on the map. As you can see, it takes quite a while to load the map. We are actually in Barcelona, and this is the map view of the city. And as you can see, it's extremely sluggish on the outer regions. It takes quite a while to load. So if you want to change orientations, it's also very difficult. It's very almost impossible to rotate the map. If you try to rotate it, it's very sluggish. It's not as in a smartphone, or your iPad using Google Maps. It's extremely sluggish. The amount of detail here is really embarrassing. Although the map it's more than 4 gigs, it's the detail, it's horrible. You can only see roads, and that's it. Basically roads and a little bit of topography, some constructions like the airport, but absolutely no detail. The granularity is embarrassing. So actually you can rotate it with this arrow here, but it's still very sluggish, and it's very difficult to find yourself on the map. Here we have some layers. Um, you can see the roads and different sections, but it's very sluggish. And if you're riding, or if you're in a hurry and you want to find yourself within the map, it's very confusing, and it's not as responsive as smartphone. And it should be, because this thing is quite expensive, and apparently it's the latest firmware and the latest version of the Zumo, Garmin Zumo, the 390 LM, and the sluggishness in the finger navigation is just, a pain in the ass. And I noticed this when I was traveling in the Pyrenees in southern France, that I wanted to, see myself within the map, like exactly where I was, and it was very difficult to do it. Um, so this is how it looks. I'm gonna show you how different it is with Google Maps. Okay, so now I am going to show you a demo of the navigation and touch responsiveness of Google Maps compared to the Garmin. So here we go. Let's open Google Maps, and this is the latest version of Google Maps. As you can see, the city. Check out how easy it is to scroll. The granularity is amazing. You can see the street names immediately. You can rotate. You can actually zoom in, you know, and you can search, and search is very responsive. So let's try Seville. Here we are, and then let's see how we get there. Let's choose this station in Barcelona, and it, it's very easy to find yourself within the map, and you can see the locations in seconds. Okay, it's very responsive, and the most important thing is the rotation. For me, this is very important because it helps me locate myself within the map. So, um, this is one of my criticisms with the Garmin, which it's a very expensive device, and it's just a dedicated GPS. And although Google Maps is just an app within a smartphone, it has more usability and user friendliness than the Garmin Zumo, which is a dedicated GPS. I mean, the smartphone is not meant to be a GPS. It just has an app that works for navigation. And the Garmin Zumo app is not even close to this Google Maps. Why? Why haven't they, the Garmin people? Why haven't they developed an app or um, a software that is as good as the Google Maps? I guess they don't have the computing power, or they don't have the engineers to develop it. So then, don't freaking develop a navigation software. Just create a great hardware where you can run Google Maps, and that's it. I mean, to be honest, Google Maps is much more useful than um, the Garmin GPS, the Garmin Zumo. For me, I find it more useful to use Google Maps, which has updated location information. So, for example, I want to find campings. You know, it shows me all the campings around. The Garmin Zumo cannot do this. You know, it's not even close to doing this shit. Because the Google Maps is actually getting this information live, you know, real time. It's user generated content. How often do you update your Garmin Zumo? Twice a year? You know, you're actually using obsolete information all the time. Road information is obsolete. Location information is obsolete. You know, everything is obsolete on your Garmin Zumo. The device is not designed to be updated, you know, with real-time information on traffic. Well, it has like a traffic adapter, but it's not even close to what the Google Maps can do, you know. The location information is not up to date. It's a lot of locations that you don't find. You know, you will never. It was impossible to find campings with the Garmin Sumo. Hotel information is useless. Um, even though these hotels have been, for example, I went to Andorra. I wanted to find a hotel that's been there for, you know, more than 10 years, and I couldn't find it with the Garmin Sumo. I just had to find a Wi-Fi hotspot, then type the hotel name and find, you know, immediately in the Garmin Sumo. So, you know, this is actually the hotel name. I'm gonna find to you the Magic Hotel. This is it, you know, it's there. And you don't have this kind of information on your Garmin Zumo. It's not even close. So, you know, my main criticism is that Garmin has been developing a tool that was very useful 10, 15 years ago. It was great. It was, you know, unique. Uh, it was the best at the time. And it was the best way to navigate without a paper map. And a great way to have, you know, this kind of travel information and route information on your GPS while you were driving or riding. But the thing is that with the new technologies, you can have um, real-time, you know, satellite information, user-generated content, you know, up-to-date information on your map, roads, you know, the all the traffic information, all this stuff, weather information, you know, up to date with just, you know, the right software. And with this software you have it for free with Google Maps. My advice and my recommendation to Garmin is, you know, just forget about creating fucking maps. Don't work on your software anymore. Just give it up. You know, just give up. Give up. Your software is fucking useless. You know, it's fucking useless. It cannot beat Google Maps. It's impossible you're gonna beat Google Maps. So, you know, my advice is focus on creating great hardware. You know, great GPS hardware. You know, this kind of um, weatherproof devices that, you know, can work on the road, um, software interface, whatever. But just run fucking Google Maps on your devices and that's it, you know. You can actually download an offline version of your Google Maps. Um, you know, you can actually download your map for offline use on your phone. So, you know, the Garmin cannot, even though it doesn't connect to the internet, once in a while through Wi-Fi, which Garmin Zumo 39 doesn't even have Wi-Fi, through a Garmin Zumo with Wi-Fi, just, you know, update the map. to wherever you are. Go to the trip planner, um, have something like a trip planner, then plan your trip, and then connect to the Wi-Fi. And once you connect to the Wi-Fi before your trip, download the whole Google map, you know, and just layer it, just have it there. But honestly, I had a terrible experience traveling um, 1,500 kilometers. It's basically around the perimeters, around these stars. I cannot even do this in the Garmin Zumo. I cannot even see where I was because it's so fucking sluggish. Take ages, take ages to see my trip. But here I have with stars the places I went through. So I basically um, left from Barcelona and traveled here to Zaragoza, and then traveled around Zaragoza, northern part, went all the way through France up to Lourdes, and then traveled, along the Pyrenees. Ended up in Andorra and came back to Barcelona. It was a circuit through the Pyrenees. It was an amazing trip. You know, the Garmin Zumo, I used it, but I found a lot of fucking flaws in this device. Because it's basically using the old paradigm. It's basically using it's based on older architectures, you know, older designs. It's not Google Maps. Google Maps is free, Garmin. Why don't fucking create GPS hardware which and make an API that hooks up through Wi-Fi, through Google Maps, or even with 3G, and just run Google Maps. It's easy, man. Why bother creating a software that's fucking useless? Once we have Google Maps, Garmin Zumo maps are fucking useless. In today's world that we're having, a lot of changes all the time. How in the world are you thinking about traveling with information that's more than 3 and 6 months old? This this is the frequency in which the Garmin maps are updated, and the updates are not that you know critical. It's just a couple places and roads and stuff like this. It's not the kind of updates that Google Maps have, like hundreds of thousands of upgrades a week. And then we're using the Garmin maps, which are so obsolete that I have encountered myself in the wrong directions, in roads that are closed, in roads that are under construction or under repair, you know, on roads that have the wrong name, places and hotels I cannot find, gas stations that are closed. All this fucking stuff, it's annoying. So, you know, my complaint is that I'm paying, $500 for this device. More than $500 paid for this shit. I have to buy, the largest SD card because the freaking maps of Europe are more than 4 gigabytes. And then I have to do all the setup and all this shit, learn how to use. And then when I'm traveling, I find all this, really annoying stuff. So, you know, as I said before, my best advice is, Garmin, give up. Give up. Just program an API, connect your devices to Google Maps, and run Google Maps. That's the best you can do, and you're doing a favor to your customers. It's new generation. You guys are old school. Okay? Move on. Move on. Okay? So this is my review for the Garmin Zumo, and I hope you liked it. And see you next time.